Have you ever wondered how to be a politician? It's really easy. Get your name on the ballot, ask a few people to vote for you, and that makes you a politician. If you'd like to be a politician who is a successful politician, who puts together a campaign and wins an election, I got a lot more to share with you. There are three critical things to know, and we're going to cover them in this video. One is you got to look the part, and that doesn't mean what you think it does. Number two, you need some stuff between your ears that's going to help you succeed. And number three, you need some friends in the right places. Stick with me, I got a lot to share here. I said you got to look the part. Here's what looking the part is. You act and comport yourself in a way that people look at you as a natural leader. That means you really need to be dressed appropriately when you are in public. That doesn't mean put on a suit when you go to the grocery store. That means need to look the part, like someone who could be in a leadership position if they see you buying soap in the grocery store. That means that when you are in public, that in meeting people, that you take time to act like you are genuinely interested in what they have to say and that you are a good listener. That means when you shake hands with people, you shake hands, not a fist shake. That means that when you get involved with organizations, you show up on time. When you volunteer, you are quick to volunteer to fix a problem. That means when you are involved in civic and community organizations, that if you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you volunteer, you show up on time to do it. You need to look like someone who is a natural leader. In being that way, people will look at you that way. And I'm going to add one thing that is really important there. You need to be truthful in what you say to people, especially if you're running in a small town, because if people suspect that you are not always truthful in what you say, you will never have a future in politics in a small town. Second thing you need is knowledge, and that's pretty simple. If you're going to get involved in politics, you'll probably pick an office to run for, and that office will give you a certain amount of power to do things that affect the quality of life for people in your community. The voters are going to expect that you will know the powers that you are asking for and be deeply familiar with what you are able to do, and therefore do not make promises that you cannot keep. The other thing, and I'm going to mention, and you do not need to have a brilliant IQ to do this, but people will think you do if you do this, which is get up in the morning and glance at the newspapers. You should know that if some calamity happened in the world yesterday in the Middle East, you ought to know what it is. You ought to know that it happened. The second thing is that you are expected to be knowledgeable. You're a leader. You're expected to know what's going on in the world around you. That doesn't mean you need to know the name of some two-bit tin-horn dictator in Africa, but you should have a general sense of what is going on in the world around you. If there's been some calamity outside the United States, why, you should know about it, and you can do that by there are two national newspapers worth glancing at each and every day. Just look at the headlines to see what happened. It's the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. Maybe your constituents don't read those, but you should. If you are running in a statewide office, you really should be looking at the newspaper that covers statewide politics. If you're running for an office in your community or city, look at the publications that cover news in your jurisdiction. Other people read that, and you kind of look a little foolish if it becomes clear to them that you don't, because they're going to wonder about how really interested you are in doing something useful with the power you're asking for. Oh, incidentally, if you are running for office someday, I got a great book for you, and it's free. It's called The 12 Essential Steps to Preparing to Run for Public Office. I spent a lot of time putting that book together because I wanted to create value for people who are watching my YouTube videos, not only what I'm saying on camera, but with a body of work that they can read at their own convenience that will help them succeed in politics. It is my gift to you and in larger part to the world at large to share what I have in my head before my time is up. Click the link to get the free book. Third thing I mentioned, and remember we talked about your integrity, now we've talked about your knowledge. The third thing I'm going to mention is I said you need influential friends. You may already know some deeply influential people. Who are they? Well, if you're at a community level, they are the people who people tend to go to when they want a sound opinion on something. It could be the attorney in town, it could be the head of the Chamber of Commerce, it could be a respected public official. But these people have influence. They either are very well respected in their community, or they lead organizations that are very powerful, or they are political party leaders in your community. They may even be the leaders of community and cause-driven organizations. You can win an election with the help of those people. It is very difficult to win an election if none of those people have ever heard of you. So that's the third thing you need to win in politics and to be a successful politician is you need influential friends and acquaintances. This is just a snapshot on how to be a politician. There is a lot more involved in becoming a successful politician. While this material is still fresh in your mind, I'm going to refer you to another video. It's called How to Be a Politician, 7 Essential Steps. We do a deep dive into other things you need to know if you want to run for office and win an election. Go there now and watch that video.